Have you ever felt as if the universe itself is conspiring to challenge you, pushing you to the brink of your endurance? Imagine a journey where each step, each challenge, is not just a hurdle, but a crucial key unlocking the door to a profound transformation in your life. This journey is real, and it begins with understanding how the universe tests us. Not to break us, but to strengthen us and prepare us for a monumental shift in our reality. Consider the parable of the lotus flower, a symbol revered in many cultures for its profound spiritual significance. The lotus, rooted in the muddy depths, undergoes a journey of transformation, breaking through murky waters to bloom into a beautiful flower. This journey is symbolic of our own path through life's tests. Each test, much like the muddy waters for the lotus, serves as a catalyst for growth, pushing us toward our eventual blossoming. The first of these tests is the test of learning to surrender. This test is not about giving up or admitting defeat. Rather, it's about understanding and embracing the power of letting go. It's a challenge that calls for us to release our tight grip on our plans, our expectations, and our desire to control every outcome. Consider the ancient wisdom found in the flowing waters of a river. The river does not struggle to control its path. It simply flows, surrendering to the contours of the land, adapting effortlessly to the terrain. In doing so, it carves out a path that is uniquely its own. This is the essence of surrender, a harmonious dance with life, a trust in the journey even when the destination is not yet in sight. Surrendering is a difficult lesson, especially in a world that often equates control with strength. However, true strength lies in recognizing that some things are beyond our control. It's about distinguishing between what we can change and what we must accept. This discernment is beautifully encapsulated in the Serenity Prayer, a staple in many spiritual practices. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. In learning to surrender, we also learn to trust. Trust in the universe, trust in the flow of life, and trust in ourselves. It's about releasing the burden of the unknown and embracing the present moment with all its uncertainties. It's a test that teaches us resilience, adaptability, and faith. Moreover, surrendering opens us to new possibilities. When we loosen our hold on our rigid expectations, we allow space for new opportunities, experiences, and perspectives to emerge. We become more receptive to the unexpected gifts that life has to offer. The concept of surrender brings us to the ancient Chinese philosophy of Wu Wei, which translates to non-doing or effortless action. This principle, deeply rooted in Taoism, a philosophical tradition that dates back to the 4th century BCE, emphasizes the importance of naturalness and simplicity in action. It's not about inaction, but rather about taking action that is in harmony with the natural flow of life. Wu Wei is about finding the balance between doing and being, between driving and allowing. Wu Wei teaches us that often the most effective way to address a problem is not through forceful intervention, but through a more subtle, intuitive approach. It's akin to a tree bending in the wind. The tree doesn't resist the wind with rigidity. It flows with it, demonstrating strength through flexibility. Similarly, Wu Wei encourages us to approach life's challenges with a mindset of openness and flexibility, adapting to situations rather than trying to force them to conform to our will. The origin of Wu Wei can be traced back to the foundational texts of Taoism, like the Tao Te Ching, attributed to the legendary sage Laozi. Laozi proposed that the world is governed by a natural order, a principle he called the Tao. According to Laozi, the Tao is the underlying essence of the universe, and to live in harmony with the Tao is the highest form of wisdom. Wu Wei is an expression of this harmony, a way of living that aligns with the natural order of things. In practical terms, Wu Wei is about cultivating an attitude of naturalness and spontaneity. It's about letting go of unnecessary striving and learning to respond to life spontaneously and authentically. This doesn't mean giving up on goals or ambitions. Rather, it's about pursuing them in a way that feels natural and unforced. It's the art of action through non-action, doing without overdoing. As we venture further on our journey, embracing the virtue of patience and surrender, a new challenge often emerges, shaping our path toward transformation. This challenge, distinct yet intertwined with what came before, is the test of frustration. Unlike patience, which asks us to wait, frustration tests our ability to endure and navigate the obstacles that life places in our way. Picture a river flowing toward the ocean. Its course is rarely straight and unimpeded. Instead, it twists and turns, faces rocks and fallen trees, yet it persists, finding or creating new paths, always moving forward. This natural perseverance embodies the essence of overcoming frustration. Frustration arises when our expectations clash with reality. It's the feeling of hitting a wall when we least expect it, a reminder of our limitations and the unpredictable nature of the world. However, nestled within this challenge is a profound lesson: the art of adaptation and the power of perspective. In the wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches the value of understanding what is within our control and what is not, we find a valuable tool to navigate frustration. The Stoics believed that our reactions to events are more important than the events themselves. Thus, when faced with frustration, we have the choice to either let it overpower us or to use it as a stepping stone toward growth. This test teaches us to embrace flexibility. Just as the river changes course when facing an obstacle, we too can find new ways to approach our challenges. It's about finding the silver lining, the hidden opportunities that lie within frustrating circumstances. It's a lesson in creative problem-solving and resilience. Furthermore, frustration can be a powerful motivator for change. It highlights areas in our lives that need attention, improvement, or complete transformation. By acknowledging and understanding our frustrations, we can begin to take proactive steps toward creating a reality that aligns more closely with our aspirations and values. In this test, it's essential to remember the importance of self-compassion and patience with oneself. Frustration is a natural emotion, a part of the human experience. It's not a sign of failure, but a signpost pointing toward growth and learning. Continuing from this understanding of frustration and its role in personal growth, we delve into the ancient teachings of Toltec wisdom, a spiritual philosophy with deep roots in the history and culture of the Toltec people of ancient Mexico. The Toltecs, whose civilization flourished in Mesoamerica between the 10th and 12th centuries, were renowned as artists and spiritual practitioners. Their wisdom, though ancient, offers timeless insights into the nature of life, happiness, and personal fulfillment. Toltec wisdom is not so much a religion as it is a way of life, focused on personal freedom, internal peace, and understanding the universe. The core of Toltec philosophy is encapsulated in three fundamental concepts: the mastery of awareness, the mastery of transformation, and the mastery of love. These principles guide individuals towards self-realization and enlightenment, emphasizing the importance of self-awareness, the power of perception, and the role of love in personal growth. The mastery of awareness is about becoming conscious of our beliefs and assumptions that shape our reality. It teaches that our perception of reality is often clouded by societal conditioning and false beliefs, leading to a distorted view of ourselves and the world. This awareness is the first step toward personal freedom, as it allows us to see the world and ourselves more clearly. The mastery of transformation involves changing these false beliefs and perceptions that limit our potential. This is where the Toltec teachings intersect with our understanding of frustration. Frustration often arises from our resistance to change or from clinging to outdated beliefs. By transforming these beliefs, we can overcome frustration and realize our true potential. The mastery of love is centered around the idea that love is the fundamental force of the universe. It teaches that by embracing love and rejecting fear, we can achieve harmony with ourselves and with others. This principle encourages us to approach every situation with love and understanding rather than judgment or fear. At the heart of Toltec wisdom is the concept of living in harmony with the natural flow of life. Just like the river in our earlier analogy, Toltec teachings encourage us to flow with life's twists and turns, embracing change and overcoming obstacles with grace and resilience. This philosophy suggests that true happiness and freedom come from within, not from external circumstances. One of the most popular interpretations of Toltec wisdom in modern times comes from Don Miguel Ruiz, a Mexican author who wrote The Four Agreements. These agreements are simple yet profound guidelines for living a life of freedom and happiness. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. And always do your best. These agreements encapsulate the essence of Toltec wisdom, providing a practical framework for overcoming challenges like frustration and transforming our lives. In our journey of transformation, after embracing patience and navigating through frustration, we arrive at a pivotal and profound challenge: facing fears. This test, unlike the previous ones, calls us into the depths of our inner world, confronting us with the shadows we often work so hard to avoid. Imagine a scene where night slowly gives way to dawn. The darkness, which once seemed all-encompassing, gradually recedes, revealing the beauty and clarity of a new day. This transition from night to day mirrors our journey through fear. Our fears, much like the night, can seem overwhelming. Yet as we confront and understand them, we discover the light of newfound wisdom and strength. Fear, in its many forms, serves as both a protector and a barrier. It guards us from real dangers, but can also hold us back from experiencing the fullness of life. The test of facing fears invites us to distinguish between these roles, encouraging us to confront those fears that limit our potential. This test is a journey of self-discovery. It asks us to delve deep into our psyche, to question the origins of our fears, and to challenge the beliefs that sustain them. In doing so, we often uncover past experiences, traumas, or conditioned responses that have shaped our perception of the world. Understanding these roots is the first step in overcoming our fears. But facing fears is not just about introspection. It's also about action. It's about gradually stepping out of our comfort zones, taking calculated risks, and trying new things. Each small step in confronting our fears builds confidence and resilience. It's a process of desensitization where what once seemed terrifying becomes manageable and even empowering. In many spiritual traditions, facing and overcoming fear is seen as a crucial step toward enlightenment or personal growth. For instance, in Buddhism, confronting and letting go of attachments, which often stem from fear, is a path toward achieving a state of inner peace and liberation. Moreover, facing our fears opens up new possibilities. It allows us to live more authentically, aligned with our true selves and our deepest desires. It liberates us from the constraints of fear-induced limitations, paving the way for a reality that is richer, fuller, and more aligned with our aspirations. Now we encounter another profound and possibly one of the hardest introspective challenges: the test of loneliness. This phase of our transformation is less about external struggles and more about the internal voyage, where we confront the feeling of being alone in our journey. Loneliness, often perceived as a negative state, holds within it an unexpected gift: the opportunity for deep self-reflection and personal growth. It's during these periods of solitude that we can listen most intently to our inner voice, uncovering truths about ourselves and our place in the universe. This test is not just about the physical state of being alone. It's about feeling disconnected, perhaps even in a crowd. It's in these moments of perceived isolation where we are invited to delve into the depths of our being, exploring who we are beyond our relationships and social roles. The wisdom of solitude has been extolled in various philosophical and spiritual traditions. In the quietude of being alone, figures like Buddha, Jesus, and countless mystics found profound enlightenment and clarity. They discovered that in the silence of solitude, one can hear the subtle whispers of the soul. Loneliness, as a test, challenges us to redefine our understanding of connectedness. It encourages us to find a sense of completeness within ourselves rather than seeking it externally. This inward journey is about building a relationship with oneself, finding comfort in one's own company, and developing a sense of inner peace and self-acceptance. Moreover, this test teaches us about the impermanence of external relationships and the importance of developing a stable internal source of happiness and contentment. It's about finding joy in our own being, in our thoughts, in our creativity, and in the simple act of existing. However, confronting loneliness is not about becoming a solitary hermit. Instead, it's about striking a balance, valuing social connections and relationships while also cultivating a strong, independent sense of self. It's about understanding that while others add richness to our lives, our own company is equally enriching and vital. Having journeyed through the realms of patience, frustration, facing fears, and loneliness, we arrive at the final and perhaps the most profound test: ego dissolution. This stage of our transformation is a deep and intricate process of shedding the layers of our ego, allowing us to connect with a more authentic and universal sense of self. The ego, in this context, refers to our constructed identity, the sum of our personal beliefs, experiences, and societal conditioning that shapes our perception of who we are. While the ego serves a purpose in navigating the world, it can also become a barrier, separating us from our true essence and from a deeper connection with others and the universe. Ego dissolution is about transcending these self-imposed limits. It involves questioning and letting go of the narratives we have about ourselves, our capabilities, and our place in the world. It's a journey toward humility, openness, and a deeper understanding of our interconnectedness with all that exists. This test often brings with it moments of profound realization. We start to see the fluidity of our identity, how it changes and evolves, and how our rigid attachment to a specific sense of self can limit our experiences and growth. We begin to appreciate the vastness of our potential, unencumbered by the confines of our ego. In many spiritual practices, ego dissolution is seen as a path to enlightenment. It involves shedding the illusion of separateness and embracing a state of oneness with the universe. This is a concept echoed in philosophies such as Advaita Vedanta in Hinduism, which teaches the non-duality of the self and the universe, and in various mystical traditions across the world. The process of ego dissolution can be challenging. It requires us to face our vulnerabilities, to let go of our need for control, and to embrace uncertainty. It's about learning to flow with life, to respond with adaptability and grace, and to find contentment in simply being rather than in doing or achieving. As we navigate this test, we learn the art of humility and compassion. We become more empathetic, understanding that everyone is on their own journey, facing their own tests. We start to act from a place of love and connection, rather than from a desire for personal gain or recognition. The philosopher Rumi, a 13th century Persian mystic and poet, offers profound insights into the journey of ego dissolution. Rumi's teachings emphasize the importance of love, not just as an emotion, but as a transformative force that can lead us to transcend our ego. He believed that love is the most potent tool in dissolving the ego, as it shifts our focus from self-centeredness to a broader, more inclusive perspective. Rumi's poetry often speaks of the ego as a barrier that prevents us from experiencing the fullness of life and love. He urges us to break free from the confines of our ego to experience the boundless nature of our true selves. In his famous work, Rumi writes, "You have to keep breaking your heart until it opens." This poignant line encapsulates the essence of ego dissolution. It's about breaking down the walls we've built around our hearts and minds, walls of prejudice, fear, and self-importance, to reveal a more genuine, loving, and connected self. Rumi's teachings also emphasize the journey inward as a means of overcoming the ego. He encourages us to engage in self-reflection and meditation, to observe our thoughts and emotions without attachment, and to cultivate a sense of detachment from the transient aspects of our identity. This practice helps us recognize that our true essence is beyond the ever-changing elements of our personality and life circumstances. In conclusion, the test of ego dissolution is a transformative journey toward our truest self. It's about letting go of who we think we are to embrace who we can become. As we pass through this test, we are prepared for a profound shift in our reality, ready to experience life with a newfound sense of clarity, connectedness, and purpose.